Are you interested in knowing the best way to attract more fans? Great, because in this video I'm going to use something called a video infographic to show you a couple of different models on how artists connect with fans, and how that's changed drastically over the years. Hello, I'm Bob Baker, author of the Guerrilla Music Marketing series of books and founder of the BuzzFactor.com website, and I'll be your tour guide on this journey. Ready to rock and roll? Great, let's dive in. In this video, I'm going to use some hand-drawn images to illustrate the points that I'm making. And if you like this visual technique, at the end, I'll tell you what tools I used to create the video. Okay, let's start with these two circles and letters. The letter A on the left represents artists. And in this video, I will focus on musical artists, but that circle could just as easily represent authors or visual artists or anyone with a creative product or service to share. The letter F on the right represents fans. These are, of course, the people who ultimately support the artist. They do so with their time and attention, with their financial support, and through the way they spread the word about the artist to other people. So, artists need fans, and fans need music and art and beauty of all kinds. In fact, human beings in general have a fundamental need for what we might call creative sensory stimulation. And that's why music, art, food, fashion, architecture, and more have been such an important part of all societies for thousands of years. I mean, they're simply part of who we are. Okay, so let's get back to music. Because of this basic human want and desire for music, over the centuries, industries have sprung up to facilitate delivering the musical goods to the people. So that cloud you see now in the middle with all the interconnected circles, that represents all of those industry entities. And it's important to note that those elements have changed many times over the last couple of centuries. In the late 1800s, the music industry was primarily run by sheet music publishers. They fed the demand of a growing number of amateur musicians who wanted to know how to play popular songs of the day. That business model flourished for decades until the early 1900s when broadcast radio came onto the scene along with the phonograph record. Now, that was a huge shift, but it was disrupted yet again decades later when TV became accessible, then the cassette and 8-track, then the CD, then the MP3, and on and on. But during the last 5 or 6 decades, that music industry blob in the middle consisted of record labels, radio stations, music magazines and newspapers, live music venues of all sizes, brick and mortar music retailers, and good luck finding many of those these days. The industry is also made up of managers, agents, producers, entertainment attorneys, and more. You get the picture. So here's what happened. For many years, artists put forth a lot of effort to get the attention of these industry entities. I mean, back in the day, most music business books and conferences were all about how to get a record deal or how to land a high-profile manager or producer. It was all about how to get discovered by one of the almighty gatekeepers. Why? Because if you were anointed by an industry gatekeeper, you had a better chance of getting exposure to fans and becoming a superstar. So a lot of time and energy went into connecting with the industry in the hope that it might someday lead to a connection with, voila, fans. Now I gotta tell you, I've been an active musician since like the late 1970s, and I've been writing, speaking, and teaching music marketing since about 1992. And even in the pre-iPod days when the traditional music business was flying high, this obsessive fixation on the industry just didn't make sense to me. Here's the reason why. When you really think about it, fans are the only thing that matters when it comes to a long and profitable career in music, or any other field for that matter. You can have a high-powered manager, a 6-figure record deal, lots of radio airplay, glowing reviews in the media, but if fans aren't connecting with you and your music, and they are not attending shows and buying stuff, you don't have a career. So my mantra has always been focus on fans. And the best way to do that is to bypass all the middleman industry entities and go directly to fans via this route. Now see how much more simple that path is? In recent years, people have been referring to it as direct to fan, but really it's an approach that's been around a long time. In fact, when I self-published the first edition of my Guerrilla Music Marketing Handbook in like the mid-90s, I didn't concern myself with the traditional book industry. I didn't try to connect with a literary agent or a book publisher. I didn't really care about bookstore distribution or libraries. I asked myself, who do I really want to reach with this message? And in my case, it was working musicians who, like me, were confused about marketing and sales, and they wanted to know how to better connect with fans themselves. So I used the internet to go directly to them. I practiced what I preached. And it worked. Over time, I built up a solid reputation as a source of music marketing advice and inspiration for independent musicians. And here's the thing. The most successful independent artists, and I've met and interviewed hundreds of them over the years, they have used this very same direct-to-fan philosophy to build their notoriety and their careers. So I implore you, do not get obsessed by the industry. Instead, focus on fans and communicating with them directly. There are so many tools to help you do that, and most of them are free. In fact, when you take this direct-to-fan approach, that industry blob in the middle is replaced by a different type of middleman. But instead of high and mighty industry gatekeepers, the middle now is made up of Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, CD Baby, ReverbNation, Topspin, FanBridge, Bandzoogle, Ning, Soundcloud, Artist Growth, Sonicbids, Brown Paper Tickets, GigMasters, and a whole lot more. But this is a vastly different middleman industry. These tools are available to everyone, not just a select few. And that's what is so incredible about this era we live in. There are just so many tools and opportunities at your fingertips. Of course, you still have to learn how to use them, you have to work hard, and there are no guarantees whatsoever. But I like this system a whole lot better than the old, worn-out gatekeeper model. So if you want to know what tools I use to create this video, here you go. I did the hand-drawn illustrations using a cool app called Paper, P-A-P-E-R. Now, it's only available on the iPad, but if you have one, I highly recommend getting it, checking it out. It's free for just the basic ink pen tool, but if you want to use all 5 tools, including an awesome watercolor brush, pencil, marker, and more, it's $7.99 in the App Store. Or visit 53.com for more info. I recorded the audio using GarageBand on a MacBook Pro, and I put it all together using software called ScreenFlow, which is available for the Mac, available at telestream.net. I hope you enjoyed this. For more tips and tools for musicians, visit thebuzzfactor.com. And for my latest advice for authors and book publishers, head on over to fulltimeauthor.com. Remember, always focus on fans. Thanks for watching.